wabarakatuh. My name is Aderia Hanifa Ananda, NPM 21910110004. Here I would like to present my presentation about the analysis of the theory of production on system and company profits. So this is the table of contents. The first is about the introduction, and the second is sector of production, the third is type of production, and the fourth is production process. The next slide is about the production first. So the definition of production. What is production? Production is the activity of producing goods or service. Usually, this activity is carried out in order to add value to the use or benefit of an item or service. Then these goods and services will be traded for public consumption. So these are the purpose of production. So all the activities have the purpose. So these are the purpose of production. The first, increase the use value of goods or service. Produce goods or service, increase community prosperity, increase profits, and expand job opportunities. For the example, I have an example of production like the clothing industry that produce clothes, batik craftsmen produce batik, restaurant produce food, while production that provides service, for example, hospitals, barbers, and so on. Indonesia is one of the ASEAN member countries. Such as opportunity has been open for the development of domestic entrepreneurs, so develop its market share both domestically and abroad. The more advanced a country is, the more people are unemployed. The role of entrepreneurship is very important in a country. Business is one of the driving economic development by absorbing labor in it. Production activities are a link in the chain of consumption and distribution. Production activities that produce goods and services which are consumed by consumers. Without production, economic activity will stop and will end. Activity production requires factors of production. This is called a tool or means to carry out production activities. This factor of production refers to the economic agreement. And the next slide is I will explain about the factors of production. And the first factor is labor factor or human resource. Marketing process and various other measures related to the sale of products or services also require the role of human research as a factor of production. And the second is natural resource. These factors has a variation of any industry, but generally land and water are the main factors for natural resource. And the third is capital factor. The capital will later be used as the cost of buying land, building a production site, buying production equipment, and paying the wages of workers. And the fourth is entrepreneurial. Efficiency of labor and raw materials need to be regulated in such a way with entrepreneurial production sectors. Thus, through proper management, a production process will run more efficiently. And the last is technology and information factors. These factors of production is closely related to the condition of the current digital era. Through this technology and information, business sectors can ease their work process. And the next slide is about the types of production. This is the four types of production. The first is unit or job type of production. This type of production is most commonly observed when you produce one single unit of a product. A typical example of the same or will be tailored outfits which are made just for you, or a cake which is made just like you want it. Example of unit type of production, it is one of the most common types of product used because it is generally used by small business like restaurants, individual products providers, or individual service providers. And the second is about the best type of production. This types this one type is it's one of the type of production most commonly used in consumer durables. And the third is about mass production or flow production. This type is one of the best example of mass production is the manufacturing process adopted by Ford. Mass production is also known as flow production or assembly line production. It is one of the most common types of product used in the automobile industry, and it is also used in industry where continuous production is required. And the last is continuous production or process production. There is a lot of confusion between mass production and continuous production. A continuous production, it can be differentiated by a single element. The amount of mechanical work involved in mass production, both mechanics and humans work in a tandem. However, in continuous production, most of the work is done by machines rather than humans. In continuous production, the production is continuous 24 and 7 hours, all days in a year. The next slide is about the production process. The first is planning. With the planning, so we have to make a plan regarding the target production volume, product design, production cost, or required budget, as well as raw materials. And the second is scheduling. So as we know, in the production process, we have to scheduling because scheduling will really affect the working hours of the workforce, as well as take into account production capacity. And the last is dispatching. Dispatching or instructions. Instructions to start production are carried out to implement plans, goals, and schedules in the production process. And the last process is after this we will going to distribution. So the product will be distributed to the consumer. The definition distribution is distribute goods or service from producers to consumers. And after that, there is consumption. Consumption activity is an economic activity that consumers the use value of a good or service. Okay, I think enough for the presentation. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.